Laura Meza was born in Costa Rica but has lived in the United States since she was 5 years old. She served in the United States Army for a year and in that time became a victim of MST, which is military sexual trauma, and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. This led to an honorable discharge, but also her abuse of alcohol and drugs, leading to criminal charges and a deportation back to Costa Rica in 2009. Here to tell her story and why she hoped to be able to come back to America one day is Laura Meza. Laura, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you,
Good,
sir?
good. So you were born in Costa Rica. How did you come to the United States originally?
We went on a tourist visa in 1985 through Miami, Florida, with my father, my mother, and 6-month-old sister.
When you came on a tourist visa, were you expecting to return back to Costa Rica, or you thought you were going to end up living here in America?
You want me to be honest with you?
Yes.
At the age of 5, I didn't know what the hell was going
Okay,
on.
fine. Your
I
parents
knew I
brought
was
you up
going to
on
America.
your parents brought you up on a visitor's visa, and you just came, right?
Yeah. From what I've heard my parents say, my mom in particular, she had no plans of staying. We were going to visit initially. My mom had a great job here in Costa Rica. She was a lab tech. She loved her job. She was used to draw my blood and do all my, lab work. She wanted to be a doctor also. She was, on her way to medical school shortly. And I don't think she wanted to go to the U.S. and clean houses and change that job to, clean toilets, which is a very, honorable job. She does that now.
Right.
But that wasn't her plan. My father was heartbroken when he knew we had to come back home. And I think he basically just didn't want the family to be disunited again and wanted us to stay together.
So where did you grow up in America?
I grew up mostly in Montgomery County, but we moved around a lot. I went to a couple high schools in Montgomery County, maybe one or two when we moved. And then finally at age of 18, I moved out of the house with a boyfriend, and I ended up going to Bell Multicultural High School, where I recently got pregnant. And then at the age of 19, I had my daughter and also graduated high school.
When did you get your green card?
I got my green card at the age of 21 in 2001.
Who petitioned you?
We petitioned under my father because my father had a change of status from green card holder to citizenship to naturalization. We had to put in the paperwork all over again.
I understand. So your father became a citizen and filed what would be called an immediate relative petition for you prior to your 21st birthday, which allowed you to get your green card. Now, when did you join the Army? After you got your green card?
Yes.
And why did you choose to join the Army?
The initial reason that I joined the Army was because I wanted to be an Army dentist. I wanted a career as an Army dentist and to give my daughter Jasmine a better future. I always thought about college. I love education and learning and reading. But I was also told about the great benefits of naturalization, the healthcare benefits and education benefits. So that was also very appealing. But now, after actually being deported, I realized what a great country I served. And that now I feel more patriotic. Even I remember Hector Baraja saying this, and something I saw, him on. But I really understand where he comes from when he says you feel even more patriotic when you're in another country that you didn't grow up in. And then I put my life on the line for my country, and I feel that's the most patriotic demonstration of love and pride. I started to feel a lot of pride after basic training in AIT while I was in the military. I had leadership positions at times, and I felt, great. I never left anyone behind either. I was the one always carrying the soldier left last behind. I didn't want to leave anybody behind. I was selfless. And, all the moral principles and values that my dad and mom taught me as a kid just were reinstilled even more in the military.
What years did you serve in the military?
In the beginning of the invasion of Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2003 to 2004.
Were you expecting to go into combat? Was that told to you when you joined up to become a dentist in the Army?
I was told that was very possible.
You knew ahead of time that you possibly could see combat?
Yes, I did. I was told that we were possibly going into war and that there was very many deployable units, especially in Germany. Once I knew I was going to Germany, I knew that I probably was going to be deployed to war.
Now, it says you were in Germany in 2003.
Yeah, sometime in 2003. I don't remember exactly what month it could have been.
What happened in Germany? Something happened in Germany to you. Can you talk about what happened while you were stationed there?
There was a soldier that would see me in the chow hall and always said hi to me. And he invited me to come over to his barrack one day. I mean, we all stayed in barracks, and we always went to each other's barracks, people that we knew, friends and everything. I didn't know this guy. I think that's a lot of the guilt that I have to deal with, because sometimes when you're a victim of these kind of things, you kind of blame yourself for it. But He ended up inviting me over. He said we'd watch a movie. When I got over there, he invited me to a beer, and that's what. After that, I mean, he had to have put something in my drink. I'm sure he drugged me because I didn't drink a lot of the beer. To pass out like the way I did and just go like unconscious and not know, have any recollection at all what happened from one moment to the next and wake up the way I did.
How did you feel when you woke up?
I was scared, shocked, ashamed, embarrassed, and really, really embarrassed because I was like, what just happened, you know?
So what did you do when you woke up? Did you accuse him of anything? Did you just get
I
out,
said,
get up and leave?
why am I sitting here naked under your sheets? What's going on? I don't remember anything happening. He says, I just remember the guy saying something like, oh, I don't like going into detail about this, but he just said something like, oh, you don't remember? We had a good time and this, like, you know, just saying stuff like that. And all I remember is, well, I was asking him this as fast as I could put my clothes on and run out of there, ran right to my barrack and took a shower, cleaned myself off right away.
Did you report it to anybody?
No, I didn't.
How come?
I kind of felt like, you know, I showered. I don't know.
Did you think nobody would believe you?
I didn't think people would believe me, or I think I could probably be picked on. I think that maybe he would start harassing me with his buddies.
Was he a superior?
No, he was enlisted also.
So after this incident, which was a terrible thing, how long was it after until you saw combat? Was it right away?
Right after that, maybe a week. It wasn't long at all. I went to Iraq right like after that.
So tell me what happened in Iraq. Where did you go? And tell me about the combat that you saw.
First, we went to Kuwait and Baghdad. We passed through there. We went to Kuwait for like a week and we passed through Baghdad. I got stationed in Balad Anaconda, which is 30 minutes north of Baghdad. And I don't know if we began like our actual MOS, military occupational specialty of dental assisting. That's how much I can tell you. I don't remember, but I do remember we were getting mortar bombed very frequently there, almost on a daily basis. That's why they call it Anaconda. Colonel Thrasher, which is the dentist like I was going to assist, he ended up volunteering to go down south. They asked, you know, does anybody want to volunteer and go down south? They need an army dentist down south in Al Nazariya. So he volunteered. So basically I volunteered to go with him. I have to go with him.
So did you actually see people getting killed? Did you see people injured? Did you ever feel that your life was in danger at any moment during Iraq?
Of course. We did get bombed, like I said, in Balad. In Al Nazariya, we got bombed too. I remember the sirens. I remember when we would have to throw ourselves on the ground with our Kevlars. But there was one incident that really impacted me. I think the MST in Germany and one incident after the next was what really hit me hard, because I was like trying to deal with one thing and then my issues, and I'm just pushing it down, not really talking to anybody about it, not, you know, just trying to suck it up and drive on like, you know, a soldier. I was really excited. I love basic combat training, AIT. I love the military. I felt so proud. I wanted to keep going. And then that's when the mass casualty in Al Nazariya happened, and it was just chaos.
What was the mass casualty? Tell me what happened.
We worked at the dental clinic, but we were used as manpower to pick up these wounded and dead Italian soldiers and stretchers for this large mass casualty. There was also some civilians involved, even a dead baby. This devastated me. I felt like it was hell on earth. Seeing so many injured and dead people at one time, it just had like a severe impact on my mind.
How long were you in Iraq?
2-3 months.
Did you get any psychiatric help when you came back to Germany?
They gave us psych meds. I mean, it wasn't really therapy. I don't think it was help much. I just think it was just kind of like, here, get drugged up, with prescription medication, psychiatric medication, and just forget everything. I slept most of the day. I felt like a walking zombie most of the time.
When you came back to America after the rape in Germany, after you saw all the combat injured in Iraq, you yourself were under attack. There was a second incident in a nightclub. Do you remember what happened there?
What ended up happening is I went to this club with my friend who invited me, and a fight broke out. So I had a lot of drink. So I had spent my money, buying drinks for me and my friends. I had no money. And I was pretty drunk, to be honest with you. So I was coming out of the club kind of like, oh my God, where did everybody go? This friend that I went with a bunch of her other friends that I really didn't know. I was only like good friends with her. So I couldn't find her. I didn't have my phone on me. I don't even know right now if I lost it that day or what happened, but I didn't have a phone. So I was pretty much stranded. And coming out of the club, there was a girl standing out there, and she saw me like, worried and all stressed out and crying and upset. So the girl said, are you okay? She came up, started talking to me. She seemed nice. She said, are you okay? She said, you can come back to my place. We can hang out for a while, and then I can find you a ride home. Don't worry, because I told her, I'm like, I live here in Maryland, and, I need to get home. I don't know how I'm going to get home. She said, don't worry about that. I'll get you a ride home. I'll find you a ride home later on. Later, she called this guy. I'm not going to name him because I didn't know his name. The guy was like, yeah, come on, let's go. I'll take you home. So we're going, and I see the Silver Spring exit. We pass it, and I'm like, hey, I told you that was my exit. You already knew. I had already told the guy. I was kind of paralyzed. I was kind of scared because I'd been using cocaine, so I was really like in a paralyzed, scared kind of state. And he ended up taking me to a hotel. And I had thoughts about like jumping out of the car, but he was going pretty fast, and I was like, maybe I'll get hurt, and I don't know, maybe this guy, I don't know, maybe he'll end up taking me home anyways. And if I jump out of the car here, if he gets out and then he hurts me, I was just kind of freaked out. So I just kind of went along with him, like, oh God, I hope he doesn't hurt me. And we ended up going to this hotel.
And that's where it happened.
I just tried to push him off me and said, no, please, and started crying and said, no, but it happened.
I believe you. How did you feel after all of this? You just had 3 traumatic situations. You had the situation in Germany, you had the situation in Iraq of being actively in a war zone, seeing death and destruction, being raped twice. After all of this, how did you feel? How'd you get on with life?
Not well at all. Not well at all. And even after I was raped, the worst part is when I called my mother. I knew the city I was in, and to be honest with you, I had worked as a ECC, emergency communications operator in Montgomery County, and I had heard horror stories about that city and about how corrupt the officers were. So I was really afraid, and I didn't call the police. I called my mom. I first called my mom and told her what happened, and I felt like I need my mom, and I told her, Mom, call Montgomery County and tell them that I'm here, just so they know.
How did you end up getting arrested for robbery? What happened? You had no money?
I was self-medicating, and I got arrested for attempted robbery.
And you were taking drugs and alcohol?
Yes, sir.
You pled guilty to robbery and possession of marijuana?
Yes.
When did you get deported?
2009.
2009. And how old was your U.S. citizen child when you got deported?
When I got deported, my daughter was 6 years old.
6 years old. Have you seen her since you've been deported?
Yes, I have. Luckily, I was in jail for 3 years, didn't see her. Then 2 years, I didn't get to see her because I got here in really bad conditions, really depressed, really down, cried myself to sleep like all the time. And I didn't get to see her till 3 years plus 2 years while being deported. So 5 years later, when she was already 11, because of economic reasons.
Did you speak to her during this time?
Of course. I tried to go to internet cafes because I was not doing well at all until I got help with the VA and I got 100% PTSD. I was able to buy a computer, go through Skype and call her through Skype and talk to her every day, get my own phone and all that, because before that I didn't even have a phone. I barely had food to eat sometimes.
Tell me about your son. You have a son that is in Costa Rica?
Yes, I have an 8-year-old son. His name is Jaden. And for the most part, we are happy. I mean, thanks to the VA, they didn't completely turn their back on us. I didn't think I was able to. I just wrote them a letter when I got deported, so I thought maybe they'd help me because I didn't really think I could get deported
How do you support yourself where you are right now?
I get 100% PTSD, disability, compensation pay.
Do you have any hope that you're ever going to be able to come back to America?
Of course I do. I definitely do.
What are you trying to do right now, if anything, to try to come back to America?
Well, right now, I think this is a good way to start talking about my story. At least it'll cause awareness whether or not I go back. I have faith and hope that I may go back, and that's my country, and I always love it no matter what, if I do or don't go back.
And you were honorably discharged from the military?
Yes, sir, I was.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, listening to you, you went through an enormous, enormous trauma after trauma after trauma. You were honorably discharged from the military, and I think the U.S. government owes you a debt of gratitude for putting your life on the line and defending what we all believed at the time was the United States of America. And you should be allowed to come back, and you should be treated here in America with good doctors and good medication and good treatment programs that hopefully in the future would allow you to live a decent life. That would be a decent thing for America to do. I know they have bills in Congress right now to address this situation. Hopefully one of the bills passes and President Trump signs it to allow deported veterans to come back who did not commit murder. You didn't do anything so terrible. You were high on drugs and you had an attempted robbery and they found drugs on you. And you did 3 years in jail. You served your time. You didn't see your kid for her entire childhood. You weren't her mother. Whether you have issues or not is beyond the point. America has to stand by you, just like you stood by America in time of war, and allow you to live here and give you the treatment that you need. With a drug conviction, what you need to do with a possession of drugs, it's not the robbery, it's the possession of drugs. I don't know what state this was in.
It's in the District
District of Columbia. Then you need to find an attorney in the District of Columbia who will either vacate your conviction or ask the mayor of the District of Columbia to give you a pardon. At that point, either by vacating the conviction, which says that you didn't understand what you were pleading guilty to, had you known you were going to get deported, you would never have done it, or by getting a pardon from the mayor that would allow your daughter, when she's 21, she's only a year and a half away from being 21, to file for you and be able to get you back here with a waiver through your parents who are still legal.
Okay.
That's what needs to happen.
These charges are not federal charges?
I don't know. I have not seen your charges. Maybe it's either District of Columbia charges or federal charges. I don't know. If it's federal, then you need to find a federal criminal defense attorney. We have that type of person here in my office. But if it's a local District of Columbia criminal situation, then you would need to find a local criminal defense attorney in Columbia. Either way, I'm sure the Deported Veterans Support House can help you locate that particular attorney and figure out what you need. But that's where you need to start.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. And Laura, we wish you the best of luck. We'll be in touch. We hope things turn out better for you than they are at this moment. And we hope that, you know, at some point in the future, it's not going to be this week, it's not going to be next month, but at some point in the future, you get to come back and we get to actually see you here in the United States. That's what you deserve.
Well, I'd love that. Serving the country, I heard different rumors that after you serve the country for 6 months on active duty, you become an automatic citizen. Then I heard people say, oh, but if you go to war, you definitely become an automatic citizen. So
you automatically are entitled to file for naturalization. But since you went to jail for 3 years for a theft offense, that's an aggravated felony. And as an aggravated felon, you're barred from naturalizing. If you're able to vacate the drug conviction, your daughter can file for you with your mom for a waiver for a new green card. If you're able to vacate the robbery or get the robbery pardoned, which would be the easiest thing, hopefully, because you have a very sympathetic story to have the robbery pardoned, then you would be able to file for your naturalization because you would no longer be an aggravated felon.
Thank you. I miss a lot of things about America because, you know, now I can compare two cultures. It's not that I love my country. There are great things. Do I still consider the U.S. home, and do I want to go back home? Of course I do. I've been here for 10 years now, and I still feel far from home. But I did improve my Spanish a lot while in college. And a lot of things, like I don't know Costa Rica's national anthem, but I do know the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star Spangled Banner. I know more about U.S. history and government than I do about Costa Rica.
Laura, you deserve to be here. If you have the disposition, send it to me, and I'll give you advice on where to go from there. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.